What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be working on this 2014 Nissan Pathfinder. We're going to be replacing the spark plugs, and on this vehicle, to replace the spark plugs, you're going to be having to take the intake plenum off. So first thing we're going to have to do is get some of these plastics off. So it looks like we got this one right here, this here. Those are both 10 millimeters. Let's get those off. And then it should just lift up. First part. Then we got a 10 there, 10 there, and then two 10s up here in the front. We got that one. Jesus, who worked on this last? Tightened the crap out of that. Alright, get this plastic off. Put this off to the side. Now we can see this is the intake we're gonna have to take off. The intake manifold, or intake plenum, whatever you want to call it. The front three plugs, we can get to those fairly easy. I have to figure out what that is. It was just sitting there. We got this mass airflow sensor connector. There's going to be a clip holding it to the air box, I think. And we can see once we get it out partially. What else we got? So it looks like we're gonna take this hose off here. Move that out of the way. Alright, so we're stuck on something. Let me figure out what we're stuck on. Oh, and that's what it was. There's the clip. Just have to put that back in the tape. But here's the clip that you need to take off. It's pretty hard to get to. Couldn't even see it. Alright, so we can leave the air box with the air filter in there. That's not gonna get in our way. I don't think this is gonna get in our way, but if it does, I'll end up taking it off. I don't see it being too much in our way. We could probably get some of this off. These are also going to be 10s. Alright, could move these out of the way now. I do believe this hose shouldn't be in our way. So now, let's see, we can get this bracket needs to get out of our way as well. So let's see, those are also 10s, but they go like sideways. So let's see how we can get to those. Oh, that one's gone into the abyss. Try not lose these 10s, but if you do, they shouldn't be able to go too far. And you got a magnet, you should be able to get to most of them. Oh, here's one more. Now we just got to undo these vacuum lines. So, oh, they're pretty brittle. Hopefully they don't break. Well, that one broke. That one did not, thank God. Okay, We got one more over here. All right, and that one's out. Now all that's out of the way. We don't have to completely undo the, like there's more vacuum lines, you can leave them alone. Let's see, next we got one, I believe, let's see, one vacuum line in the back. I think that one goes to the booster. Ooh. Also, if you guys are doing this, make sure you let it cool down a little. This is still a little warm. I haven't let it completely cool down, but I wanted to get started on it. And that kind of burned right here. So try and let it cool down or leave it overnight and start it in the morning. But I believe we should have just one vacuum line back here that goes to the intake. But the hardest part is there's gonna be a bolt holding the intake manifold, like a support bracket. That's gonna be the hardest one to get to, and I'll try and show you guys where that one's at, but it's gonna be pretty hidden. Okay, that vacuum line's off. Oh wait, do I feel another one? I think I feel another one. Okay, there is one more vacuum line down here. I can barely feel it. Okay, we can get it in there. So there's one, and then there's another one right below it, I believe. Yeah. It's really hard to see. I'm going with taking the throttle body off. You can leave it on there, but if you leave it on there, you're gonna have to take these two coolant lines off. And I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You can take them off, plug them off with a bolt or something, but I don't want to make a mess, and I'm gonna just unbolt the throttle body. It's not that big a deal. So you can unbolt it, or you can take those coolant lines off and leave the throttle body on there. All right, those are our throttle body bolts, and those were a 5mm Allen. But we have another vacuum line that goes under the intake. Let me figure out how I can take that one off. We got this bolt, and this vacuum line needs to come off. And then we got this one too. I don't like taking these off, but there you go. That's off. I just need to get this out of this clip. Okay, now that's free. Now we don't have to worry about this line. Next, let's get to that back vacuum line. I'm gonna need a smaller set of pliers. Let's see which ones. These are kind of big still, but maybe they'll fit in there. Oof, that one was on there real tight. Let's see if we can figure out where that bracket is gonna be at. I know it's back here somewhere. All right, so I can't feel anything on the back, so I'm gonna take these 10mm that hold the intake plenum manifold to the lower intake, and then we'll find out if we do. But I reach my hands back there and I'm not feeling anything, so I guess we'll find out. We're caught on something. Ah, I got it now. It's just a small bracket. That's weird. It's not an actual support bracket. A 10mm, and it seems to be holding a small bracket in place. Oh, poop. Well, that didn't hit the ground, so that's gonna be fun trying to find it later. Okay, so it had this 10mm in the back, and that's it. So now that we have this off, you can see it just has a rubber gasket. You can replace it, you can reuse it. This one still looks pretty decent. I'll probably reuse it. Put that off to the side. And now, see, there's that little bracket that was holding on to the intake. And I honestly, usually on these Nissans, they have like a bracket that comes up from like the cylinder head, and then it comes up here, and it's what supports the intake manifold. But I guess this one doesn't have it. I honestly thought that this one did have it. Maybe it's the Murano and not the Pathfinder. But anyways, now we can see that we can get to the back 3 plugs, and you know, that's really it. So next we're gonna take off these connectors for the ignition coils, and then we'll remove the 10mm bolts that hold the coils to the valve cover. Now we got those coils off, we can take the spark plugs out. And I'm going to be using a 14mm socket. I'm pretty sure that there is a specific tool for this, but I just use any 14mm socket. This is a 12 point, you can use a 6 point, whatever. But get that in there and just crack them loose. And these are not that tight, so we'll go ahead and loosen all these back ones and then take them out, and then I can explain to you guys how you install them and how you tighten them, because it seems like a lot of people have problems with that. All right, another quick tip is once you got your spark plugs loose, you can use the ignition coil to get the plug out. You can do this, or you can just do a magnet. I usually use a magnet, but in case you don't have a magnet, you can just do this. So the plugs we're using are these NGK Iridiums. We're just gonna compare them, make sure we got the right plugs. I'm just gonna make sure that none of them are cracked on the porcelain. And then just compare them, make sure that they're the same. They look the same. We'll probably check the gaps to make sure that they're the same too. So another thing about the spark plugs is you can see that it has this crush washer. When you tighten the spark plugs, it's gonna feel like it got tight, and you still have to keep tightening after that. It's gonna feel like it got tight, but yeah, you still gotta go a little bit more and crush this washer, otherwise compression escapes through that. And then you get misfires, lack of power, whatever. But I'm gonna check these, and then we'll show you how you go and tighten them. Okay guys, there, it finally got snug. So now we still gotta go a little bit more, and there we go. And that's it. That's really it. So see, that one's snug already. Let's see if we can measure this. Maybe like half a turn more. Yeah, I'm sure there's a torque spec for it. If I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen for you guys that like the torque spec stuff, but I've done this for so many years that I just go by feel. Yeah, it's about a half a turn more. So once you feel it gets snug, it's not done. You still have to go a little bit more, and it's about half a turn more. All right, guys, so that's it. Just make sure that you get everything put back together properly. Don't forget these vacuum lines that are in the back and this little bracket. Your ignition coils back in and connected, and make sure that you clean up the mating surface for the intake. We don't want there to be dirt and then you end up with a vacuum leak after you go to start it. So I'm gonna put this all back together and I'll be right back with you guys once I'm done. Another quick tip, guys. I like to put a little bit of grease or any sort of like lubricant where hoses are gonna go, and then maybe the next time I have to do this, it won't be such a pain to get those hoses off. All right, let's just get this back in there. It's all done. Everything put back together. I already did the front plugs as well. Same thing as the back ones. I mean, these are pretty self-explanatory. If you could get to the back ones, you can do these front ones. Something that I usually see, you have to remove the intake to get to the back side of the spark plugs. There are another 3 spark plugs. People will just replace the front ones, the ones that they can get to, and they won't ever touch those back ones until, you know, it ends up misfiring because the plugs are so bad. But yeah, that's it, guys. It's really not that hard. It's a little more complicated than most of the stuff that I've been doing, but don't be afraid to do this. It's really, take your time. This is something that anybody can do. So now we just gotta start it up, make sure we have no misfires and no vacuum leaks, and we'll be good to go. Alright, guys, started up perfectly fine. Another job well done. I don't hear any vacuum leaks. I did have to replace this vacuum line. This one broke on me when I was pulling it off. It was really on there. But other than that, we just gotta put the plastics back on and we're good to go. So guys, that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.